Hello everyone, thank you so much for clicking on this video today. I'm Salio. We are going to do a Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania movie review. Say that 12 times fast. I'm not going to try. But if you haven't seen the movie yet, I would totally recommend pausing this video, saving it for later, subscribe to the channel, and then come back to it. Just because I am going to sort of just talk about it, and so I don't want to give any spoilers away if you haven't seen it yet. So I will give you a moment now to go ahead and do that. You still here? Yes? No? Okay, cool. Awesome. You're gone. So, getting to the review, I had some time to sit with it, and I think I saw it like 2 weeks ago now, so it's been a couple weeks. And overall, I feel like it was good. I would say better than good. I don't think it's definitely not my top 5 favorite Marvel films, and it's not even, I would say, my top 10. I might actually rank them all at some point, but or at least my top 10, but it's definitely up there. I would say top 15 maybe. But yeah, thinking about it though, I was trying to think like what made it good to me, and I think there are two big things that made this movie really good. The first is Kang and sort of his introduction, or more of an introduction to him, and sort of setting him up to be the villain, and that he will be a villain in the future. The fact that he was so comic accurate looking, I mean, he literally wins like one of the best comic accurate looks for Kang in this movie. Like honestly, it was just so cool to see him, and just everything that he was doing was so great. The actor as well, so great. But I kind of feel like that in a way. I don't know. I don't know if that should be the reason why an Ant-Man film is great, is because of the next villain you're setting up. So I don't know. I kind of had a little. I don't know. I'm kind of still processing that. I'm like, does that really constitute a good Ant-Man movie if one of the biggest things, at least for me, was the best parts were Kang? And then the second thing would be Cassie Lang in the introduction to sort of her now as kind of a beginner hero. It's nice that they actually put a little bit more of a recognizable face to the character. I do feel bad for the other girl who didn't get to continue playing it, but I honestly couldn't even remember her face if you put it in front of me. But it was cool to see sort of Cassie and her sort of just becoming a hero herself. Because it will set up the Young Avengers, and I'm super excited for the Young Avengers. I think so far they're really great in terms of the MCU. I think Kate Bishop had a great one with the Hawkeye series. I think Cassie has a good one with this movie. And they both come off as like not the typical, damsel in distress, or just like youngin in distress. That sometimes these young characters just do. They just kind of like the America Chavez. America Chavez was good, but she was definitely like in more distress, being chased, and which makes sense, but also, I'd rather see them sort of have it a little bit more together, and it's nice that both of these characters did, Kate Bishop and Cassie, that is. And then we also have Kamala Khan from Miss Marvel, so it's really shaping up to be really good, and I'm excited for hopefully, the Maximoff twins, the boys, Wiccan, coming in, and hopefully even Hulkling too. I don't know how that will work when they would introduce him. I'm hoping that Scar from She-Hulk isn't going to take Hulkling's spot, but we can do a Young Avengers talk a little later. But really, those were like the two big things that I enjoyed about this movie. And as far as Ant-Man goes, so This movie's called Ant-Man and the Wasp, right? Duh. Um, Ant-Man. We love Ant-Man, right? I mean, one of the reasons why we went to go see it. And we've loved him in several films before that. I mean, I don't think there was a movie in which I was like, oh, I don't like Ant-Man. I did like Ant-Man. He's great. And I love the comedy that Ant-Man brings. I love the comedy that Paul Rudd brings to the character. Um, Also, I have here Paul Rudd never ages. I just don't get it. I don't. Do we? Where is this fountain of youth? Like, and why don't you share it with us? We want it. We all want it. Um, but really, I feel like his story was pretty simple. You know, he kind of is now this sort of celebrity, spokesman for the Avengers, and he kind of just goes around and does book signings and, does his thing, and people know him and take pictures, and, life is good. Um, I don't know how I felt about like the overprotective dad parts. I feel like it's been done so many times before. I mean, and I know it's a part of life, but I mean, at some point it like worked for a little bit, and then I feel like at some point it kind of just stopped working for me because I was like, Cassie's kind of her own character now, and maybe that stuff never dies. I'm not a parent, I don't know, but um, yeah, you're kind of just like, why don't you teach her more to be a better hero? Especially because he's even learned across these movies, how to be a better hero. I mean, from the first Ant-Man appearance to now, I mean, he's had some significant growth. Not only just as a character, but just figuring out the whole superhero structure. um, but yeah, overall, I mean, I Ant-Man's great. I mean, I think he's always going to be great. I do like that it was kind of just like a complete, story in terms of you saw him part A, part B, and then part C. It kind of just closed his like he had kind of like a full story for this movie. If I never saw Ant-Man again, I'm not gonna like wonder what happened. Um, and we'll talk about a little bit more of that about the ending. But yeah, overall, Ant-Man was great. I have no complaints about Ant-Man. Um, the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp. I feel like they should have called this Ant-Man and Cassie Lang, honestly, to tell you the truth. I will say one nice thing, because you have to say the nice things first. Wasp, best, best, best look ever. Like, this is the best that Wasp has ever looked, in my opinion. The yellow and black suit, the short pixie hair, this is the look. I think it was great. I think it is another one that stands to be like one of the best comic accurate looks that we've seen so far. Um, I really love it, but oh man, oh man, oh man. They must really not either one like this actress, or they might either just not care about this character, which is sad because Wasp is one of like the leading Avengers and one of like the main female Avengers. Like, I think if you were to rank female Avengers in terms of just like, I just overall, in terms not necessarily power level, but just like being on the team, founding, sort of just like popular Avenger women, it would probably be like Black Widow and Wasp. And Wasp might be even a little higher than that. Black Widow and Wasp, and then like your Captain Marvel, Scarlet Witch, maybe, I don't know who else would be there. Those are like probably like the top four female Avengers, I think. And it's just really sad that Wasp isn't getting the attention she deserves, and I don't know why that is. I like the actress as far as what I've seen. I just feel like her story just goes nowhere. I felt like she was a complete side character in this film. Um, I felt like Michelle Pfeiffer's character, who was also technically a wasp, but she totally outshined Evangeline Lilly's character, which is somewhat okay for me because I'm like, it's Michelle Pfeiffer. I mean, we can watch her forever, any day of the week. We love her. But the actual Wasp in the current timeline should have had more to do, I feel like. And yeah, I was super let down by that. um, especially because she just looked so great in the role. Like honestly, it does make me a little sad in that part. But yeah, I had like zero. I felt zero about that. And I just feel like hopefully that it's just, with a lot of these movies and you get actors who I don't, who knows. I know there might have been some um drama. There was some buzz about some drama that was going on with her, or just like likability wise. Same thing happens with like Brie Larson and Captain Marvel. The likability thing comes up a lot. And I don't know, it just I feel I hate to see that really like just put the character on the back burner, because I would love to see these characters in action more. Um so yeah, I hope there's a way to work around that for the future. Um I have Cassie Lang here. My notes, great intro to her becoming Young Avenger. Um, she had a lot of great points. She was kind of like the young voice of this generation, just like putting those questions out there to the older generations, and just being like, "What are you doing now?" Yeah, it's great that you helped out. To her dad, to Antman, she's like, it's great that you saved the world, but what are you doing now? What are you doing today to make the world a better place? And really opening up those bigger questions. Woke POV is what I also have here. Uh, the turning Modoc at the end, I think, would be pretty funny. Don't be a D. Uh, but yeah, I liked that. I liked when she and Ant-Man were talking about the lime when they got bigger, that citrus was what they craved. I thought that was a very specific, um, a very specific thing to add to that, sort of like when they grow and they've been big for a long time, that they crave citrus, which they did mention early on. I'm not sure if it was the first Ant-Man movie, but definitely I think it was. I just watched Civil War recently again, and he was talking about citrus in that movie too. So I do like that it was sort of a continuation um, of sorts, um, from even movies like way back. So I'm glad that they threw that in there, because I didn't even catch it the first time, but after watching it again, you catch it again. Um, and then I have more Michelle Pfeiffer, who's great and we love her. It was great to see what she had to deal with in the quantum realm, and but she probably should have told people about Kang. I mean, that's kind of like a really big secret to keep, and I feel like she had enough time from when she got out to the beginning of this movie to be like, yo, there's like a real big bad guy in there. Like, especially after being snapped from Thanos, you would think, oh my gosh, like I came out of this and got snapped by Thanos. But oh hey guys, there's also another really big bad guy where I just came from. Just to let you know. But she didn't. And I know she like kind of had her own reasons, and she was kind of, connected to him as well, so maybe she was embarrassed, but I don't know. I feel like I would be like, wait a minute, guys. Thanks for getting me out, but there's don't go back there. Like, don't go back there. Um, and then Modoc. I have Modoc here. Modoc was great. I, there's been a lot of like, funny memes about Modoc, not looking, great, but honestly, feel like that's kind of what he like. The helmet part I thought was like the most menacing part, and yeah, when the helmet came off, he did like moderately goofy to like probably major goofy. But if you actually look at the real character and the comics, like that character is goofy looking too. There's no way to make Modoc look cool. I think they did by giving him that helmet, and in those first few scenes he's flying around and he looks kind of more like a machine, and that makes him look cool. But then if you're gonna give him like a real face, I just don't know if that's even possible to make Modoc look cool with that. But I'm glad that they gave the actor who played Yellow Jacket that role to sort of come back and give us maybe a different storyline. I don't think that's the actual Modoc storyline, but give us sort of a continuing story with that character. And I did love the narcissism of Modoc. I think it could have been turned up a little bit more. From what I remember, MODOK is like really narcissistic, and so I would really have loved to have seen that be turned up. But I was pleased with it overall. I mean, MODOK wise, you know, I don't know if we'll see him again, but if we do, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad to see more MODOK. It'd be fun. And then I have King and how just so great he is. This actor is so great, Jonathan. I can't think of the last name, but he is really, really great. He was great in Loki. He's great in this. I can't wait to see more of him. And I just love how they integrated him into this movie. Um, and I was wondering, like, will this sort of be the canon going forward? Will Kang show up in a bunch of these solo Marvel hero movies as sort of like somewhat of a bad guy, or show up in some way, and then for the actual Avengers movie, then they'll all be on the same page going against him. You know, um, I'm interested to see how that goes. But there are some of these Avengers that I'm like kind of wondering how are they going to go up against King alone. I was really worried about that for Ant-Man. Um, I didn't know how Ant-Man would be able to go up against Kang alone. Uh, he did, which kind of goes into our ending here. Um, the fight at the end where Ant-Man is fighting Kang, and he sort of lets his family go back through the quantum realm, and they're all on the other side, and he kind of stays behind, and the machine gets turned off, and he sort of sacrifices himself and to fight Kang. I'm like, don't know how. I feel like that was really hard because I just don't know if he could have really taken him on the way that he did. I personally feel like the brutality could have been turned up a little bit. I feel like I wanted them to sort of tap the R rating line and just like put their hand on it for a minute, and then like take it off. I think it was pretty brutal, but I think it could have been a lot worse because I don't really know if Ant-Man could have really taken on Kang like in the comics. I'm not sure. Um, I think it could be close, but I really feel like we were gonna lose Ant-Man for a minute, and I really felt like maybe that should have happened in a little bit of a bigger capacity, because I don't know. I feel like if one of the solo Avengers can deal with a Kang variant, then why do we need all of them to go up against Kang? I don't know. So we'll see. But kind of brings me back to sort of Wasp. So then Kang is getting beat up. No, I'm sorry, Kang is beating up Ant-Man, and is about to deliver a final blow. And then who comes back through the quantum realm? Wasp, to kind of shoot Kang away from Ant-Man and sort of help him out and help fight. They fight together. It was a big moment for her to do that, and I liked that moment. I feel like it could have been bigger, especially because like they are in a relationship and we saw that a bunch. But I just felt like that could have been again a bigger moment for Wasp as well and their relationship too. Um, but after they dealt with Kang, then they were able to go back through the quantum realm. I really feel like they should have sort of sacrificed themselves, in a way, to stay in the quantum realm. Like they couldn't get back out because there was a lot of back and forth happening in that short amount of time. And I think it would have just been bigger if they both were like, we're sticking in this together. We're going to keep Kang here, like almost like Michelle Pfeiffer's character was doing, keeping Kang, sacrificing herself to be in the quantum realm. I feel like they could have done that too. And then when they bring them back for a future movie, there could be a storyline like that instead of just like having everyone sort of be out at the end and it's kind of like this happy ending, sort of like a, you know, another bookend to this movie. Um, because by the end of it, it was just like Ant-Man was just kind of walking down the street again, the same thing that he was doing at the first scene in the movie, and it's just like, wait a minute, Kang said that there's more of him. Did I just, mess things up for everyone? And like that was cute, but I don't know. I feel like there could have been more of a sacrifice that helped the future. I guess is all I'm saying. So yeah, and those stakes could have been higher for sure. Um, but yeah, uh, and then the end credit scene too. All of the Kangs. I know some people were like, "What the heck is this?" But I am really interested to see all these different variants of Kang. I'm like it's interesting because there are some I like don't even think about. There are some that you're like, oh yeah, I can totally see that, and there were some that I'm just like, what do you mean? Like, um, how just like far he sort of stretches. Um, Honestly, I feel like if they don't do a King, I mean, they probably won't do a King show, but we'll see. Maybe at the end in season 2 of Loki, maybe we'll get to see more of that and sort of just more variations of Kang. But then again at the end of the day, this movie is an Ant-Man and Wasp movie, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like I just like Kang more, um, and yeah, I just don't know. I don't know how, as an Ant-Man and Wasp movie, they should be the main ones, the ones you're rooting for. I feel like I was kind of rooting for Kang, honestly. Uh, but yeah, overall, it was a good movie. I would totally watch it again. Maybe I'll have a better, different opinion the second time now that I know what's gonna happen. But yeah, it's definitely up. It's up there because it looks good and it's newer and that's fun. But not the best one. I think I might like the second one the best, Ant-Man and Wasp. Yeah, if just because based off of it, just Ant-Man and the Wasp, I think the second one is the best one. This one was great just because it's it's just a pre-Kang intro, and I mean, if you didn't like Kang, I don't know if you're gonna like the future of Marvel for a little while, the next few phases. So yeah, just get on board. Just get on board. Well, thank you so much, guys, for watching this review. Please leave a comment and tell me what you thought of the movie, if you liked it, or any of my thoughts. If you like my thoughts, if you don't disagree with my thoughts, just let me know how you feel about it. And if you like this video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I'd love to grow this channel out a little bit more, and your support is very much appreciated. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you for the next video.